I wonder, do you have round robins at all?
I have one.
Mm.
You know how the Gobblegums are relentless in this freaking game? Pay to win to get more or grind
Dude,
hard.
they should have just made it so that like you can get all the Gobblegums, right? Like, but it's like, what's the word? They're all available from the machine from the get-go, but the rarity determines how often you get it. Now that would be cool. That would be cool. Because then that would mean, actually that would probably fix a lot of problems with the system. But they gotta add their microtransactions. I mean, that'd be really cool to think about though. Like, imagine like, that'd make getting Perkaholic amazing. Like, because you'd probably have like maybe 1, 2, 3% chance of getting it from the machine in the game. But then you get it like,
give you an actual reason to pick it up to use it every single round too.
Yeah.
Even if you have a good Gobblegum.
Yeah, because then you're like, what if this next one's even better? And it would get rid of some of the cancer that is the system right now, because it is technically, it's kind of pay to win now, especially with round robins and power vacuums being as overpowered as they are. But if they wouldn't be nearly as overpowered if they only came every, 1 out of 100 hits or so on the machine in game. I don't know, just an idea. Maybe they could have added microtransactions, like maybe just cosmetics on the dudes. Like the characters. I don't know. Hello everybody and welcome to I don't know what to call this, I guess a random idea that I kind of came up with in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It's going to be probably part of a little series of different random ideas that I come up with as I play different games. But without any further ado, let's get on into the topic. The Gobblegum system was a new feature added to the Zombies mode of Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It was a system where additional buffs can be obtained from a random Gobblegum machine. I'm sure many of you already know about this, but I'm just kind of providing this idea just in case anyone doesn't already know. So the system was definitely fun to toy around with, as you could pick a loadout of 5 different gums that you would be able to use in the map. And they would, randomly cycle from the 5 different things for the duration of the map. Buffs varied from small things like being able to teleport somewhere randomly to powerful... Yes, my English works very well today. To powerful gums like skipping an entire round, like round robin. Some were even fun to use, like eye candy, a gum that changes the colors you see. And you had several charges on that to have different little colors you can look at. However, a good portion of the Zombies community can agree the system is far from perfect. Remember how I said some Gobblegums can skip an entire round? I said that 5 seconds ago, but saying again. Unfortunately, those gums are under a different category from the ones that you can get infinitely. You see, there is a classic set of Gobblegums that have nice effects, but they aren't really game-changing, as they are all very situational, including alchemical antithesis, as the only weapons that really benefit from alchemical were low ammo maximum weapons. It just so happens that all wonder weapons in the game have low ammo maximums. Anyway, once you get to the next tab from the classic gums to the mega gums, there are a large amount of different Gobblegums to choose from. In this mega Gobblegum category is where we can see extremely powerful effects, such as providing players with all perks on the map, or allowing them to purchase any amount of things for free for a minute. The major issue that these Gobblegums have is that they require you to go into Dr. Monty's factory, where you can spend liquid divinium, which is earned extremely slowly, to acquire Gobblegums. Due to the rate of acquisition of liquid divinium, many of these Gobblegums are hard to get, which not only could potentially cause the player to never use it if they even do get it, so that way they don't want to, so that way they just don't ever lose it, or they will dashboard from a lobby if they feel the need to do so. This creates a strong problem in public matches, as the host could easily dashboard at any time, forcing a disconnect of all players, since the game only would migrate a host if the host chose to leave the game via the in-game pause menu. Even if players use the Gobblegums and dashboard, they will quickly find that the game is extremely easy and extremely boring to play. Of course, you can use the argument that maybe they just shouldn't dashboard and just lose the Gobblegums when they lose them, but that gets into the whole idea that you never really get to use the gum, almost ever, if you do get it, with this current system. And even then, you only get to pick from 5 different Gobblegums. Anyway, ranting. So, should a player get all the Gobblegums that they want from the Gobblegum machine, which really should only take 5 rounds, in the case of the player that dashboards and keeps their Gobblegums, they'll find the game is extremely boring to play because, well, you just get everything that you could potentially want in only a few rounds, and then the rest of the match is basically you curb stomping everything you see. I mean, of course, you can beg the argument that some things can make the game harder, like boss zombies and even the Easter egg. However, they're made very easy once you get a Gobblegum that is very useful for that Easter egg. But anyway, now I'm getting off topic again. So as you can kind of see, like the issue, there's kind of like an issue with Gobblegums where they kind of create this paradox where players just don't want to either use a gum, or if they use the gum, they leave, they dashboard from public matches, or it just makes the game bored for the player that's dashboarding, who's currently in the game. So it's kind of a wonky system right now, and it could definitely use improvement. I've seen many different suggestions here and there where people are saying, the Gobblegum system should be removed entirely, but I think the system is pretty nice. I think it just needs some changes, and that's where some other people have said maybe the megas should get nerfed, or they should only ever be classics. But then that kind of gets a little bit boring, because then players don't really want to go for the Gobblegum machine if it's not really going to provide any additional benefit for a very long period of time. So I started thinking of my own potential solution for the problem, and I thought, well, we have many different random aspects in the game, and while some have been reduced in quality over the years, they all have been they've been pretty addicting to use, such as the mystery box and the Wonder Fist machine. You see, the mystery box in Black Ops 1 was almost a necessity to go for. Many players would go as far as never paying for a door in the early rounds to use a box as many times as they can. Now it's kind of cancerous, but it wasn't nearly as bad as ending the game because you want to keep your Gobblegums. Then we go to the Wonder Fist machine, and while it doesn't really provide much fun because there's only so many perks that Treyarch could think of, it was definitely an interesting aspect. Side note, I feel like what they should really do with the Wonder Fist machine is incorporate perks from all of zombies. So, the Wonder Fist machine could use Who's Who on a map that's not Die Rights, for example. But semantics. That's not what the Wonder Fist machine is not what I'm here to talk about. What I do want to talk about is why on earth the Gobblegum system doesn't have this. You can only get 1 of 5 things to appear from it, so you will very quickly get whatever you need. And this is the part of the issue with, getting bored very easily. And of course, I feel like maybe the reason why it's 1 of 5 could be just because of the fact that the Gobblegum system is monetized, as Liquid Divinium can be purchased with COD points. And that could either force players to pay money if they want a large amount of Mega Gobblegums right away, or grind them for an extremely long period of time. Due to this, developers most likely implemented this pick a Gobblegum system so that players who grinded for Megas or bought Megas would get them in a reasonable amount of time in game. Unfortunately, this causes the boredom and public matches issues I discussed earlier. Not to mention the pay-to-win aspect of skipping 10 rounds if you have 10 round robins or more, or if you have power vacuum, as we now have. And just not to mention that you get these round robins and power vacuums from highly RNG loot boxes, even if you purchased Divinium. So I figured, to alleviate this cancer, maybe we could just slap all the Gobblegums into the machine, including the Megas. Sounds like a crazy idea, but just bear with me. They would all be classic in that you could get them all infinitely if you managed to get more than one of the same type. So, for example, you can get a Perkaholic once in round 1, and maybe at round 28 you get another one. It's not going to take it 2 charges away. Charges don't exist. You just get them or you don't. This way, no one would ever need to grind for a chance to get the gums they want, only to not be able to use them later if they lose them, or get very bored by how frequently they are getting them since they have kept the 10 they have by dashboarding. The chances to get each gum would probably I would have it set so that would be balanced by their rarity. So gums like Perkaholic may have very low chances of acquisition, like 1 to 3% chance, while gums like Respin Cycle are more common at 6 to 7% chance. Bear in mind, we have a large amount of Gobblegums here. This would not only get rid of the issue in public matches, but would fix the other 2 problems of boredom or paranoia for losing a Mega. This would make bored players who dashboard stop dashboarding, as the only way to get a Gobblegum is to play the game. It would also add the fun factor back in for gums, as getting that 1 to 3% chance Perkaholic would feel amazing. I know you would love that. It would be like getting a ray gun back in Black Ops 1 or the Mark II and 2. It would just feel outstanding to get. And even some gums that aren't really useful, you would go, oh, that's actually kind of nice. Kind of like a Galil in Black Ops 1. Not the best weapon, but it's gonna do well for you. This would also it would also create a buff nerf scenario for gums. The more common or the more currently common Gobblegums, the ones that are only Mega, not Rare Mega or Ultra Rare Mega, would be more common to get, and they would appear more often, versus Perkaholic or Round Robin or Power Vacuum, which would appear not very often. So their effects are less likely to appear in a game at all if your luck isn't too good. But at least the luck isn't monetized or kind of broken, because you only, like I said, you only get so many megas if you're gonna choose to use them and lose them. Of course, many of you who may or may not disagree with me would understand that this idea would probably not come to fruition because of Activision and its greedy practices, forcing microtransactions on their developers, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer. However, you must remember that there are 2 ways to monetize zombies, like adding cosmetics that can only be acquired through loot boxes, like I mentioned in the first clip. And they would be the thing that would be acquired with Liquid Divinium. Since there are other ways to monetize zombies, why not just let Gobblegums act in the way I described? Who knows? Maybe who knows? Maybe it'll be amazing. Maybe players would love it, and maybe the developers would love it because they're meeting Activision's needs. Maybe Activision would love it because more players are playing the game, still playing the game, and buying all the many cosmetics that there exists. But who knows? Maybe there's some flaws you can find with my idea. It's kind of a quick one, despite the fact that this video's kind of gone on for 15 minutes. But I would love to see what you guys think about it in the comments or the Reddit page that I will also be creating. Either way, that's my idea, and I'm done. So, have a good one. See you in the next one.